YouTube, what up? It's SK Sports Talk. Hey, I had to come tap in on this Eagles versus Cowboys game, first game of the football season. I can tell you right now, Eagles are going to win the game. So if you're going to bet Eagles money line. That's one thing you can put down into your parlay. Another part of your parlay you can put down, bet Jalen Hurts to pass more than 28 pass attempts. You already know with this league, the NFL league, it's a pass-happy league. They're going to come out passing the ball. The Dallas Cowboys, they're going to be trying to stop the run heavy. So that's going to leave the pass attempts wide open for Jalen Hurts. Play action going to be there all day long. If you look at it on the averages, in an NFL game, they average about 10 possessions a game. So that, I mean, Hurts will only have to average about 3 pass attempts per possession. That's something I definitely see him doing. It's going to be pass heavy. You know, Eagles, they got to feed their receivers. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. It's the first game of the year. Them guys are going to want to eat. They're going to want to get into the touchdown zone. So Hurts is going to feed them. They're going to have to keep up with the Cowboys, with Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. They're going to be passing the ball. They're going to be doing showtime catches. So when Eagles get the ball, they're going to be right back throwing it. Not to mention everybody talking about Hurts ain't no good quarterback, so he going to come out with a point to prove. Everybody keep talking about how the Eagles beat the Cowboys last 2 games. And yes, they beat them bad the last 2 games, 2 blowouts. But traditionally, it's usually more of a competitive situation. They usually split the games per year. Look, 2023, 2022, they split. So I don't just see it as an automatic that the Eagles are just going to steamroll the Cowboys. The Cowboys going to have to show up because they've been getting dragged through social media, on ESPN. You already know everybody's going to pick the Eagles. So that's when it gets under the Cowboys' skin and they're going to show up. Now, the Cowboys, they got these new weapon, George Pickens. I'm looking to see how that offense is going to look with Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I'm expecting some serious, explosive stuff going on. Like, Pickens is nasty on the one-on-one tip. He be burning cats. So you got CD on one side, you got Pickens on the other side. Like, if you leave either one of those guys with a one-on-one situation, they're going to beat their man. So what are you going to do? You can't double team both of them. So that's going to leave them wide open. And what Dallas, they're going to have to pass the ball. They don't got no running game. They don't got no running game at all. Hopefully they can draft the new rookie. Somebody can put some life into the Dallas Cowboys running game. Because their running game was terrible the past couple years. They had to bring Zeke back, and he didn't do nothing. The boy Rico Dalve, he was okay towards the end of the year. But overall, they got a bad situation with the Dallas Cowboys running game. Now, with Jalen Hurts, now for the Eagles side of the football, when it comes down to Hurts, I kind of lean towards what Cam Newton was saying he's more of a game manager, and he's not a top 10 quarterback. He may be top 10, he may be low top 10. I'm not saying he's not top 10, but he definitely ain't up there top 5. Nowhere. He's not up there. He's not on Lamar and Joe and Josh, and Patrick. You know, some people would even put, Jaden Daniels in front of him, but that don't matter. What matters is that he got that ring on his finger, and that's what those guys don't got. That's what Cam don't got. That's what Lamar don't got. That's what Josh don't got. That's what Joe don't got. So the man doing something right. That's all that matters, is that you get the ring. So he got the ring, he got the job done. But I just don't think he's not no top level, but that don't really matter. He's good enough to win the Super Bowl again. I definitely got Eagles going back to the Super Bowl again. The NFC don't look that rough and that tough to me. I don't see nothing coming out the NFC. The Packers, they had the Lions, and the Vikings. The Vikings then got rid of their quarterback. So I definitely see the Eagles coming back. They got a well-rounded team. They had the number one ranked defense last year. I'm not even sure who's on their defense. They just played good, complementary team defense. My two favorite players from the Eagles, they retired, Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. They were some dogs for the Eagles. They must have laid the foundation and must have trained these young boys because they got their defense rolling right. Now, when it comes down to the Cowboys defense, their defense is not that good at all. So I can see the Eagles having their way with the Cowboys defense. But that don't mean that they're going to cash in. You can have your way, but are you going to cash in when it's time to cash in? And I just see that things could happen where it's going to lead to it being a close game. The Eagles might stall. Hurts might throw a pick. So we're going to see. I think it's going to be a close game. Now, really, what I really want to see is what the boy Saquon Barkley going to do. My man went off last year, had 2,000 yards, had a crazy year. He was spinning on people, doing back jumps, all type of crazy Marshall Faulk, Darren Sproles, Barry Sanders type, looking like Reggie Bush at USC. The boy Saquon is something nasty. The only thing is he going to be able to do it again this year? You already know running backs, they break down after they have years where they have high attempts easily. So I'm just trying to see what's going to happen with him and what's going to happen with Derrick Henry. Are they going to be able to bounce back? Hopefully the coaches know how to handle them and give them less attempts. They got to have less attempts. When connected down to Saquon, you got to have less attempts. Don't worry about the rushing title. But last year, he should have worried about the rushing title. When it came down, you was that close to the rushing title. Man, go get that title. Go get that title. I know y'all cashed in. Y'all won the Super Bowl. But there's no saying that you couldn't have cashed in on the rushing title and could have won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? They keep showing these lists about the rushing season, who had the biggest rushing season. And they keep showing this second list right here where it says most rushing yards in an NFL season, including the playoffs. And I thought that was funny when they made that list because I never really seen nobody put a list together when it had including the playoff rushing numbers. The real list is the list before that when they just had single season rushing yards, not with the playoffs including. And if you look, I want to shout out my man Jamal Lewis, Baltimore Ravens player. He was number 3rd on that all-time single season rushing list. But this list, he's not on it because this is a list including the playoffs. This is some list they put together to have Saquon be at the top of the list. But, either way, Saquon's a beast. But bottom line, Eagles in a close one. All right, I'm out.